Folks, we are back at a full-scale war with Iran, and according to Trump, it is going down tonight.
Like as an example, we're going to hit them very hard tonight, and we're going to hit them hard tomorrow. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. They have nothing. They have nothing going other than they have big mouths.
First of all, why would you say that? I mean, you literally endangering troop lives forecasting exactly when the U.S. military is going to be attacking. Now, I know it's confusing. He told us he already won this war, so I guess he want to win this war again. But the truth is, this war is not over, a long way away from being over, and Trump been searching for a way to end it, but he just can't. I mean, he's out of moves. In the words of Trump, he don't got the cards. Trump already gave Iran billions of dollars as part of this memorandum of understanding. I call it a surrender deal. He lifted sanctions and allowed them to sell oil. They made billions. This MOU also came with a sign-in bonus. They didn't have to do anything, and they get to keep the money now that this MOU is basically void. But there was two reasons that I already knew there was no chance this MOU would survive. Before we get started, I want to take a second and ask everybody to subscribe to Politics with Steve on YouTube and sign up for my email list. Those are the best ways to stay in the loop on all things Politics with Steve. Now let's get back to it. All right, so this surrender deal gave Iran control of the Strait of Hormuz. That is the main reason that this deal never had a chance to survive. The tit for tat that we're seeing is because Article 5 of the MOU gave Iran the control of the strait. It said that they are the managers of the strait. But the Trump administration is constantly routing ships through the straits without going through the Iranian approved routes. So every time a ship goes through the strait and it didn't go through the right channels, Iran is, blowing it up or, hitting those ships. The United States is then targeting Iran, and that's all of the stuff that we've seen. And then last week, Trump just straight up said the MOU is dead. But here's the thing, Trump needs more oil to get out the strait. He knows that. He thought paying Iran would make them, forget that they control the straits and they would just let this slide. So that was the whole reason for that MOU. But he know he got to get oil out the strait. He want to keep the market stable. He understands that he eventually need to get gas prices down. Midterms are around the corner. As long as gas prices is what they are and they expect it to get higher, oh yeah, his most loyal supporters will not like that. Exxon is warning that oil prices could hit $160 per barrel in the coming weeks as reserves are depleted. The company's senior vice president says, and I quote, "We're approaching unheard of inventory levels. I mean, really, really low levels." And oil and gas prices is exactly why Trump is releasing so much oil from the U.S. strategic reserves. Now, that's just stupid. I mean, that's like going in your piggy bank or wherever you keep your emergency funds and using it for concert tickets. I mean, that is for catastrophic events and emergencies. This is an emergency that Trump created. Eventually, we will run out of strategic reserves, and when we do, we cooked. Those strategic reserves is the only reason why gas prices aren't higher than they already are, and he just burning through them. And if this war don't end soon, those reserves gonna dry up. We will possibly see $10 a gallon very soon. Now, the second major reason this MOU never had a chance is because Iran said over and over, they will completely block the Strait of Hormuz unless Israel stop attacking Lebanon. Israel is still attacking Lebanon. Every time a peace deal get close, the U.S. agree on anything with Iran, Israel unleash a vicious attack on Lebanon. So Trump personally called Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel and told him not to respond at times when he being attacked by Lebanon and Iran. And then Trump released a statement saying that he calls the shots. He wanted everybody to know that he controls the relationship between the United States and Israel. Hours after he did that, Israel responded with strikes on Iran. Literally, hours after he did that. The U.S. president is weak, and everybody knows it. And Trump truly is desperate to have some control over Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. He even cussed out Benjamin Netanyahu for not letting him get out of the war that they started together. And let me get y'all these exact quotes. This article from The Guardian says, Trump shouted and cursed Netanyahu over threats to resume Beirut bombing. So if we scroll down, we see Donald Trump angrily confronted Benjamin Netanyahu. He says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then down here, he says, "You're fucking crazy. You'd be in prison if it wasn't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this." And look, that's actually true what Trump's saying. Laid. I mean, as long as a country is in war, they try and make it seem like the commander in chief needs to be focused on foreign issues. He also said without the U.S., there would be no Israel. So, I mean, he been talking crazy. I'm going to show y'all that too.
Without the United States, there would be no Israel. Without me, there would be no Israel. I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you.
But the truth of the situation is this war is being fought on Iran's terms. Trump is playing right into their hands. A ceasefire helps Iran because they get a chance to regroup, re-strategize. They got a lot of money from the MOU, so they got a chance to stay in a fight with this money. But continuing the war might be an even worse option with Trump with midterms looming. And also for the United States, we see what gas and oil prices are looking like right now. But when our president is a money-hungry pedophile, that's just a terrible combination to be at war. Right now, what we're seeing is Trump being terrified of Israel releasing information on him. But he also don't want those dollars from the Middle East to stop flowing in. Basically, he's stuck in between a rock and a hard place. You know, on this hand, he got the Middle East who's paying him. On this hand, he got Israel who's blackmailing him. And in the beginning, it was easy. It was a piece of cake. You know, his blackmailers and his sponsors both wanted the same thing. They wanted to continue the war against Iran. They all wanted regime change in Iran so that Iran stopped being a threat to other countries in the region. But see, when this war started, Iran started giving the other Gulf countries the business. And since then, they've been begging Trump to take a ceasefire. But every time Trump get close, Benjamin Netanyahu put an end to that. He start viciously attacking Lebanon. See, Qatar gave Trump the $400 million jet that Trump is currently using for Air Force One. And when Trump leave office, we all know that that's going to be his jet. They say it's being transferred to his presidential library, but we know what that means. But right after Qatar gave Trump that jet, Trump signed a defensive agreement with Qatar, which included NATO's Article 5-like protections. What that means is an attack on Qatar is treated as an attack on the United States, because that's what NATO's Article 5 is. And it's not just the jet. Trump got a lot of very profitable real estate in Qatar. So when I see him make posts like this, I immediately think, oh no, he don't want nobody to lay a finger on Qatar. Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it. Nor did it have any idea it was going to happen. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decide to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. Hey, that sounds like somebody that's being paid to protect somebody. He's using a United States military like henchmen, like they, paid, like they hired guns. But see, this is how Trump works. If you pay him, he will be loyal to you. I mean, he literally promotes businesses on his social media platform as the president of the United States just because they gave him donations. And another one of his family sponsors and U.S. partner in the region is Saudi Arabia. And they funnel a lot of money to his family too. They funnel money directly to Trump with things like the Live Golf Tournament being played at some of his properties. And by the way, they canceled that because they've been pissed with how Trump been conducting this war in Iran. They also paid Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, $2 billion after Trump's first term because he did things like, convince Trump to take his first international trip to Saudi Arabia, something no other president did. The U.S. intelligence community say they was part responsible for 9/11. But Saudi Arabia is a major player in this thing. It was reported last month that Trump tacoed out of a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz because Saudi Arabia was pissed. They suspended U.S. access to all of its bases and airspaces. Because like I said, Iran said their strategy is retaliating against all U.S. allies in the region. Saudi Arabia did not want that to happen. They've been telling Trump to take a deal, and Iran sees that too. He see how Trump reacts when the people that's paying him get hit. They like that, so that's what they're going to keep doing. And on the other side, we got Israel. Remember, they're the ones that got Trump dumbass into this war in the first place. And we know from an FBI spy who filled out a 1023 form that we found in the Jeffrey Epstein files that say the Trump administration is compromised by Israel. And by the way, one of Trump administration highest ranking national intelligence officials, Joe Kent, resigned and said the U.S. Started this war against Iran for Israel. So regardless of what the Trump administration is saying now, we already know exactly why this war started. I just recently seen a clip of former Secretary of State John Kerry talking about the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu asked every single president to, join this war against Iran. He tried to sucker every U.S. president to go to war against Iran. Trump was the only one to do it. I'm gonna show y'all that real quick.
Netanyahu was taken into the situation where he basically pitched Trump on attacking Iran. Were you ever part of any conversations like that? I know he's made that pitches to past administrations. Were you ever a part of that? And were you surprised that he was able to convince Trump to do this?
Well, I was part of any number of conversations with Prime Minister Netanyahu, conversations that took place in other countries.
Pitching the U.S. to strike Iran.
Yes, he wanted us to strike. He came to President Obama. He made a presentation to ask to strike. President Obama refused. President Biden refused. President Bush refused. The only president who has agreed to this, obviously, is President Trump.
So the only question I had after seeing that was, why the fuck would Trump do this? The only thing that makes sense is he knows Benjamin Netanyahu got the goods on him, and he don't want him to use it. And look, don't take my word for it. Listen to a former Israeli intelligence official say just that.
If there's a real deal between the Americans and the Iranians, and it's going towards that, Netanyahu will try to sabotage it. One of the ways he'd sabotage it is by putting out Epstein material against U.S. government officials, including Trump. And he put it out there. New material that wasn't seen before in public.
So it's not just Trump. I know that Howard Lutnick is mentioned. There are other officials.
Not just Trump, other officials too. Yes. And he'll try to sabotage the whole negotiation and deal that would be that they're trying to make together.
So again, Trump is trapped in this war. The entire United States is trapped watching this disaster. The only thing we can hope for is Congress change hands during midterms and they come up with a solution to get us out of this. Because Trump, he just ain't got no idea what to do.